Lift up your head, standing by. Square your shoulders. Lift up your head. Know that everything God said He will do is coming your way. So stand, stand. Somebody needs to stand. Oh, stand. One more day. One more hour. Stand right where you are. Oh, God's gonna see you through. God's gonna give you power. Stand there. Oh, yeah. God's gonna be there, and it won't be very long. After you've done all you can, after you've done all you can, after you've done all you can, you just, oh, yeah, you just stand. That's what we want. That's the 9 o'clock. Welcome to the Times Square.
If you don't wear it, sir, decluttering your wardrobe. And earn an extra cash from it. It's easy with Vinted. Just look at this. It's not magic.
Tell me what do you do? You don't know. Your night is never. Tell me what do you say when you friends away your wrong? That's in my mind. Tell me what do you give when you've given your all? Feel like it's never enough. Tell me what do well you just stand. Tell me what do you say when there's nothing left to do. You stand. Watch the Lord bring you through. After you done all you can do, well, you just stand. There's nothing left. You're from your how do you deal with shame? Can you tell me how can you keep on smiling? Your heart has been broken and so what do you do when you're down? You can, and it seems like you can't make it through. Child, you just stand, stand, stand. Don't you pack it in. Square your shoulders. Throw your hand up in the air. Go wherever you are. God's gonna be right there. Through the storm, through the rain, through Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Overcomer's Story. Tonight is another night. We started, if I should say, a series last week, and we are finishing off today. And so you are all welcome. If you are on, kindly say hello to us, and we will acknowledge you. And if you can share, please take time and share the links because what we are discussing here is very educative, and you want a lot of people to hear. So if you are on, kindly share the links. Welcome once again and have a good time and please take books. Like I always say, take note of whatever we are going to discuss. It can be a blessing to you, it can be a blessing to your children, it can be a blessing to everyone around you. So share the links, let's share the links. God bless you. I know you can. After you've done all 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 you can. Yeah. Oh, after you've done all you can. You've been wounded. You've been scarred. All right. Once again, you're welcome to Overcomer Story. We are all aware that Overcomer Story is designed to reach out to especially the vulnerables. It's to everyone, but especially the vulnerables who are trying to come out of the challenges they found themselves in, but are struggling. And by the grace of God, we have overcomers here who are going to help us. We started last week, who are going to help us to discuss most of the topics that people are struggling with and they don't even know how to come out. And so we are going to discuss on the topic, like we started last week, on the topic child grooming. So to this evening, we want to know how we can overcome this. It's something that has been there for a very long time. And so we are going to discuss few points we started and then finish off with how we will overcome it. And so we have these great men of God on this platform with me. I would like them to take time and introduce themselves and we can take it from there. Thank you. God bless you. If you are on, say hello to us. And so I will go to Pastor Roger. Please, if you can introduce yourself to myself and the audience. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks, Nancy, for the opportunity again. And I give God glory for meeting this great men of God, Pastor Collins and Uncle John, Elder John, for us to go through this program. My name is Roger Carl Parkins. I'm a pastor counselor. And yeah, basically, that is what it is. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Roger. Reverend Collins, please.
Thank you. I'm also Collins of the Assemblies of God Theological Seminary, a pastor by calling, a teacher by calling and profession. And so that's a brief introduction about myself. Thank you.
You're welcome. In actual fact, there's one thing I would like to know about. It seems all of you left it, whether you are family people or not. So if you are married and have children, at least it would be nice to tell us. So if Pastor Richard would like to tell us, and Reverend Collins, if you want to tell us, are you a
okay.
family person or you are single? Maybe some.
Yes, yes. No, I'm not single. I'm a I'm a married man. I have two wonderful daughters who are both married.
Wonderful daughter.
The first one has 3 kids, and then the second one has 2 kids. The first
Wow,
one is in Kenya. The second one is in Tema, just around my area. So basically, I'm married with 2 kids, two wonderful
that's good.
daughters.
Great, wonderful daughters. God bless you, man of God.
Thank you.
All
Reverend
right.
Collins.
I'm also married, and I
Mm,
went the double of Pastor Roger.
Oh, God bless.
Double
I
love.
have, I have two boys and two girls.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I
yeah.
doubled your
The
figure.
boxers that will protect the girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you
Um,
very much, um, Reverend Collins. So, Elder John, please, would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Nancy. Thank you for having me on this program. Yes, my name is John, and I'm a social worker by profession. I'm a family man. I've got three daughters. Uh,
Okay.
Three daughters, daughters,
three daughters.
daughters, daughters. Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much for honoring my invitation. It's a privilege to meet you all again. Thank you. And so, hello, viewers. If you are on, kindly just say hello, say something for us to know you are on. And please take time and share. Let's share the links. We have a great topic that we are discussing. It's a very educative one that everybody out there need to hear. So even if you join any group, you can share the links to the groups as well. Share it on social media, all your platform. Do share and let the message go across for everyone to hear. God bless you. Thank you all. I would like to welcome Alberta Odonko. Hello. God bless you for joining. Thank you. God bless you, Ben Osofo. God bless you for joining us. So the rest, I cannot see you. I know we have about 8 or okay. Hello, Daniel Amwako. It's a good it's good to be here tonight too. Thank you. It's good to have you on board as well. All right. So last week we started last week we started on a topic, child grooming. Benjamin, you are welcome. Good evening. All right. Okay. So we started a topic on child grooming, and in actual fact, from these great men of God, we realized the insights they gave us about child grooming, realizing that people groom. We were talking about, in actual fact, we have two ways, like I said earlier. We have the good grooming. I wish one day we will come also and talk about the grooming, the good side. So we have the good grooming and the bad grooming. And last week we were talking about the bad side of grooming, where people bring people or build a relationship, a trusted relationship with people just for their selfish reasons, if I should just put it in a short form. So Isaac Ofori, you are welcome. People just getting close to, especially the young people, since it's child grooming, the young people trying to build a trusted relationship with them for their selfish reasons. And we realize that most of the time is we find ourselves in those things when especially parents don't really have time for us. That is where most of the time we try to find ourselves in such situations. And so we are building upon that. We said a lot of them that each and every one of these great men gave a huge knowledge about what it is. And so we are building upon it and try to finish it with how we will be able to overcome it in this generation or in this grooming that we have found ourselves in that has been there for a very long time. We cannot overcome all, but we believe and trust in God that there can be a change. Amen. Forgive
Amen.
me for my amen anyway. All right. So, you know, that's let me just say this thing before we can and then discuss it and I can bring other topics. I was talking to I just want you to know that last week you all did a great job because it has really touched people. And among all the videos we've done, this particular one is the one that hits. It's reached out to 4.5K, and the people that took time to watch were about 1.7K. So it has reached a lot, like very far. And thank you all. God richly bless you once again. And so we were talking about child grooming and everything that we said. So during the week, I was talking to someone, and the person was asking me. So it was a question, he put it on me, and I also want to bring it across. So the person was saying that she is a young girl, and it's to do with online grooming. So I will finish it and then ask the question. The person was asking me that she has someone online constantly messaging, telling, you know what we're discussing, telling her that she loves her, and the kind of picture, a whole lot of things that this lady was discussing with me. And unfortunately, she has one of I think last week one of them wrote something that they sometimes you have parents that are like tigers in the house. So this lady has parents that are not too keen to have a conversation with her. And so she herself, she's really scared to talk about it to the parents. So she was just talking to me and asking me what she can do. So, great men, do you have any advice that you want us to? I'm sure she may be online. That you want to advise this young girl of what she should do and what the parents should also do for the girl to be able to speak to them. So let me quickly recognize these few people, and then you come on with your contribution. Thank you. So we have Isaac Ofori. Hello, blessings, bless you too, darling. Collins, good evening. Good evening to you too. Eric Opon, good evening. Aya Dems, good evening, man of God. Good evening to you too. You are all welcome. All right, so if Pastor Roger, Pastor Roger, we want to go first. Or
Okay. Nancy, first and foremost, I think that in trying to resolve or help people out, we need to
mm,
separate them because the source of the predator or the pedophile will determine what solutions should be given. When the
mm,
source is from the home, within the family,
mm,
the route, the way out will be different from when the source is from outside, and parents
mm,
know. And the other issue has to do with when parents are not even aware that it's happening,
mm,
because the issue of this grooming, uh, they try to make it a secret. They intimidate
mm,
you. They put pressure on you not to reveal. So that is where
mm,
the challenge is. And I don't know how, but if the Spirit of God does not come in, for parents to be alert, to be aware, made aware of what they have opened themselves up by virtue of
mm,
they being so rigid and strict and not open, having a close relationship with their children. These things can becomes a bit dicey. So I don't know how we're going to answer. Maybe I'll just pick one. I can't dive into it just a little and leave it there.
mm,
And then I'll come to this lady's issue. First and foremost, I think that when parents themselves are involved, intentionally
mm,
or unintentionally, let me just say this. Some parents, by virtue of where they are coming from and by their appreciation, and I want
mm,
to be very careful not to use the sexes as whether it is women who do that more or men who do that more, because I don't have any, what do you call it, um, information as to the quantum of women doing more or men doing more. So let me leave it there. But sometimes
mm,
parents can influence their children in certain areas that make them free to open up for grooming. Um, it can even happen to the extent that where parents would want their children to be associated with a particular person or relate to a particular
mm,
family. These things can happen when you have a frustrated parent who vents his or
mm,
her pleasure on an innocent child because he or she is being denied by the spouse. Then it becomes very dicey for the child to get that liberty that he or she is looking for. And I'm so glad that in the UK you have wonderful people like Uncle John, Elder John, who are into helping people and bringing these issues out. And you have pastors who have been assigned or qualified to do that. Unfortunately, in our
mm,
part of the world, it's very difficult to have it. It's unfortunate to say this, but that is the truth. Even when you go to the police station and you go and report, I don't know what is happening now, but you'll be disappointed you went there because
mm,
don't let me go further or else I'll bring. But so basically, the system to help people who are
mm,
so much into this and they can't get help. They want to get out
mm,
because no normal human being will be content and fulfilled in this situation. No normal
mm,
human being. They will end up becoming abusers themselves if they don't have a way out and so on. So it becomes very difficult to suggest a way out The only way we can say is that whoever it is, there's a way out for you. Who do you trust? First and foremost, I think that you should reconnect to God. And that's, you know what? We have made the issue of God as in you need to connect to somebody before you get access to God.
No.
As pastors, as leaders, as preachers, we have taught the church to go through pastors before coming to God, having access to God. But God is always ready. God can reach. Look, if you can open up and call on Him in our need, wherever you are, whatever you're facing, if the environment that is supposed to protect you is the one molesting you and pushing you to that way, and you have no one, you have a Father who created you in His own image, after His own likeness, and He loves you. In fact, when you read Psalm 100, verse 3, He says, know ye not that the Lord it's God. It is He that has made us and not we ourselves. We are His people and the sheep of His pasture. So God has intended and designed you. So if you have missed your way, you're not connected to Him, you want to get back to wherever you are. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be righteous. Let me use an extreme word. As filthy as you think you are, God is ever loving and He's ready to open up and to receive you. All it takes is to have that environment and say, Father, I need your help. It's not how you express it, is the heart that says that, Lord, I need your help. Trust me, God will find a way to connect you and come out and bring you out. That is the first point of call. If you have issues talking to any man, because you cannot trust if the source of molestation is coming from somebody close to you, either it's a church environment, friends, relatives, and so on, or family, a close family, parents, and so you can't call for anybody. God knows you, He understands you, and He wants the best for your life. Please don't be disappointed with the examples of those who claim they are honoring God with their lives and they are supposed to know the best, who have disappointed you. No human being is a yardstick to limit the love and care and ability of God. I want to leave it here to call on anyone. If you have no one, you cannot trust anyone. You can trust on Almighty God. Please, He has not forsaken you. He has not rejected you. He's just waiting for you to call on Him, and He would answer and show you the path. Let me leave it here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Roger. Reverend Collins, you want to add your voice to it?
Thank you, Pastor Nancy. You see, in the case of this lady, she has been able to come out to at least get in touch with you. There are some who wouldn't want to disclose it at all for several reasons. Some because they have been threatened by their predators.
Rumors,
That they themselves and then their family stand to suffer should they disclose whatever has gone on. So some of them are gripped with fear. But this lady has been able to come out. Just as Pastor Roger said, yes, it's best to come to God, especially when you know that you became a victim, even though you were courted into becoming a participant. You were actually a victim. And so you need not blame yourself and you need not condemn yourself. Know that the arms of God are always open to welcome you. Just as we read of the story concerning the prodigal son, regardless of how prodigal he had become, how wasteful he had become as far as the resources were concerned, when he got to know that he could return to his father opened his arms and welcomed him. And this is what people should get to know, that regardless of the extent we might have fallen, God is ever ready to bring us healing, to receive us, and to accept us. Then the first person this person could have got in touch with would be the parents or any significant other, especially in the home. But you see, I'm not sure she's been able to open up to the parents. But because she found this platform, where there isn't an interpersonal contact, where you see the face, know her identity, she finds it convenient to open up to you. If parents, like Pastor Roger said, if parents will get involved in their children's everyday life, if parents will open up for children to communicate freely with them without becoming so judgmental when they falter, children will be ready to let parents know some of these things that are happening in their lives, which are eating them up. So parents should open up. Parents should make their children their friends. And once they are able to do this, the children will freely and willingly open up to them and disclose some of these things to them. Otherwise, if they are unable to disclose, it eats them up, destroy them, and sometimes they themselves will begin to abuse themselves. So I will end it here for my brother John to also add up.
Elder, please hold on. Let me just acknowledge these few people. I think I left. So hello, Reverend Cynthia. God bless you for joining us. Thank you. Yvonne Roberts Foster, thank you for joining. Pastor Kelvin, thank you for joining us. My husband Kojo Abeka, thank you for joining us. Susan Oladeju, thank you for joining us. And Camo 6, God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Colin Sowusu, thank you. Cecilia Mensa, Entry Prince Eric, God bless all of you. Alexander Osei Mensa, thank you for joining us. There is a name, I don't know, but Osei Wusu something. Thank you. Forgive me for your name because I'm not sure of how I'll mention it. But thank you for joining us. All right, so Elder, I hand over to you.
Thank you, Pastor Nancy. Thank you, Pastor Roger and Reverend Collins. Actually, the situation with this person, you see, last time when we were talking, we did mention that online can be one of the platforms that grooming can occur. And I believe this is the experience of this person. We don't know much about the situation, but I'm assuming this person is under 18 or over 18. Yes, under 18.
Under 18, yes.
Under 18. Yes. And that is the reason why I think there is the issue of parents coming in as to how to disclose. But you see, there is nothing wrong with, you see, because of the technological advancement that we are in, people establish friendship group online with people they haven't even met before. I don't know whether this person has met her before or they haven't met before, they just met online and therefore is just trying to force his way into her life. So that is one of the issues. So yes, if she doesn't know this person, they just happen to establish a relationship online, like a friendship relationship, and now this person is wanting to take it to a different level. That is one of the issues. This person seems to be forcefully coming over to this young person, lady. One, this is where the lady should be looking at what are the signs, the alarm bells ringing here. You haven't met me before. I don't know whether they have gone ahead and shared photograph because I don't know, the circumstances.
No, so, the thing is, they put their pictures on social media, on Facebook.
That's right.
And I think with Facebook, regulations, in actual fact, under 18, they are not supposed to. I think they are not supposed to be on Facebook, but Instagram is okay. But how this girl managed to, which will lead me to the second question when you finish, to set up the Facebook. I don't know, maybe whether she lied about his age or whatever, because I know Facebook, if you are under a certain age, you are not allowed then. So
yes, I mean, for the young people we work with, from the age of 13, they can go onto social media platform, whichever one it is, whether Instagram, whatever it is,
TikTok and all those that,
even some of them Facebook as well. But in this case, I think what the young person needs to do is to first of all cut off any link that she has with this person in the first place. Because, you know, when you bring your parent into it, yes, it's good for the parents to be made aware of, but what are they going to say? They don't know this person is online. You are the one who have established the contact with this person. So you are seeing signs of this person, what the person is bringing, you don't like it. You are worried about it, because why would she confide in you if she wasn't? So therefore, this has kind of awoken her, yes, for her to see what this person is doing. So first of all, my advice would be cut links with this person. It's not by force that you have to still continue maintaining contact with this person. Yes, it is good to let your parents know, but at the same time, cut off links with this person. And then, because one thing which normally doesn't help is when young people tell their parent of something that is unpleasant, majority of the time, the parents, instead of taking time to listen, we sometimes jump ahead and rather gets cross with the child for whatever they are sharing. But that's not the best approach. That's not the best approach. So anytime a child shares anything, reveals any kind of information, what they need to do is to listen and at least appreciate them for coming forward to share that information. And from there, what they need to know is to now advise the child to desist. Like I was saying, cut off links with this person or any other person who tries to befriend them online or tries to, make them feel uncomfortable with the kind of friendship they are trying to establish. So without going further, this will be my first advice. Cut off links with this person and find a convenient time and inform your parents and tell them what you have done, so that they will appreciate the fact that, yes, you have taken the sensible approach, you have cut off links, and you are informing them. Then they can because you have to add the positive of what you have done, so that they will appreciate what you have done, and then maybe they won't get upset with you, and then encourage and advise you. Yes.
Thank you very much. I would like to welcome my Bishop. Bishop Joe, thank you for joining us. God bless you. Yes, this thing, wow, is very important. So this leads me to the second question I wanted to ask.
Pastor Nancy,
we are talking about
before you go to the second question, just to top up with what Elder Collins and Pastor Collins and Elder John spoke about, the issue of separating yourself from the link is very important. Nancy, what I've come to understand is that sometimes the link is so strong, it's not only physical, but it's spiritual. And they have added some other spiritual connotation to it. That is where it becomes a bit dicey. So you need a stronger authority to help you get out of it, depending on what it is. Sometimes it can just be mere words. Some people have developed themselves to the level that when they speak, it's so strong, it's influent. You feel it, it has a very tangible presence. So you need a stronger authority to help you get out of it. And our colleague spoke about when a family's name is at stake, then parents want to cover. They don't want to hear this. The point of every issue is that when you fall, every human being, unfortunately, would judge you with whatever is going. But when the liberty comes, you be the one to benefit, and you'll be more glorious than you used to be. So no matter how you're falling, no matter how the situation is, look, if you want to hide it, you make the case worse. It's better to bring it out. Let everybody laugh at you. But trust me, you will have the last and better laugh. That is very, very important. If we can do this, we'll get out of the situation. These are some of the bottlenecks I see in people not wanting to come out, and they want to stay where they are, where families want to cover the issue. So we don't want to go to the necessary authority for these things to be dealt with, especially when it's even a close family member. You want to be careful not to betray that family member. We need somebody, you need a hand. If you cannot open up to God, you need somebody to come in. Where you are in the West world, in the Western world, you have access to a lot of mature people like Uncle John who will come in and help you. And then, if Auntie Nancy, I think that it's also good that you have this platform. We should create an environment where people can be brought in to support some of these people, depending on how dicey the issues are. I think some of these things can open up the place and then let people go in for help.
Thank you very much, Pastor Roger. God bless you. I think what you are saying is very true. Sometimes we need the authority also to pray. I will just use myself as example. You know, when I married earlier, when I married and came to UK, I think the first or the second week, I was there and somebody sent me I don't even know. The person said he's a prophet or he's a pastor. He's not even a friend. He's not my Facebook friend. But this person constantly sent me a message. And the kind of things he was saying, and in actual fact, I became scared. So I just have to come off social media. I blocked the person because constantly he was saying a lot of things that it kept me scared. So I just have to block that person message and then come off social media for a while and then spoke to my husband. I'm like, this person is saying this, and what do I do? Because I was really scared. So sometimes with the authority and the things they do and whatever spirit that is backing is also another thing. So it's very true, and it's very important that we seek help in those areas. In as much as we block them, we seek help from great ministers of God that can help us. If we are not mature to pray to God and all those things, there are so many people out there that can help us. Yes. Thank you very much. So Mavis, you are welcome. Susan, you are welcome. Emmanuel Paul Eniche, you are welcome. Felix Demebu, you are welcome. Lucky Bukari, you are welcome. Thank you all for joining. Please share the links. If you're on, kindly say hello so we can acknowledge you. Yes. All right. So this leads me to the second question. Gifty Roxanne, God bless you too. The second question, you know, this nowadays, the social media. When I was reading about this child grooming thing, I realized that around the time that this COVID season, or let me say the lockdown season, I realized that the online grooming became too much. Like it was a lot. And out of about 84% of the online grooming, 77% of them were ladies, like young girls, young ladies. So is it because, my question is it because nowadays we give phone, we don't really pay attention to our children, or we give the phone to them earlier, or I don't know. I don't know even how to put it. Is it because the phones that we give to them, they spend too much time on the phone and the social media, or is we the parents, which I think we have answered part of it, we that don't really get involved, or what? I don't know if there is any advice that you can give, if we should stop giving these children phone, or we should pay attention to their using of phones and online, or whatever we should do. So Elder John, again, I will come to you first with your professional advice, if what you want us to do.
Okay, thank you, Pastor Nancy. I think what I would say is, I mean, we are in a technological world whereby, you know, young people as young as 11, 12, 13, they have smartphones. I mean, at that age, I didn't even see a phone, let alone have one. You know, now it is common. It is very, you know, common. But what I will say is there has to be a balance, a good balance, because majority of our young people are spending a lot of time on social media, online, on their phones. And this is where the problem starts, because, you know, if I should link it to the lockdown, when we all had the lockdown, there were times, I mean, we were not going anywhere, and people were bored at home, and how people try to break the boredom was to go online. and get themselves into all manner of things where they get hooked up with friends they claim to be friends they don't even know, they haven't met before, and establish this acquaintance with them, and then from there gradually, because groomers are very, very cunning and they know the vulnerability. If a groomer links up with a young person, they can tell whether this person is a vulnerable person. And as soon as they detect that, that is their target, and they will then start, unleashing gradually their ways, their tactics, their all that to win them. You might not see it right away because you might think, and they're supposed to become either your age, co-equal, or they disguise themselves in all manner of ways. So that is how they try to get into your world, but we as parents have to help our children to have a good balance in terms of how much time they spend on social media and how much interaction they have. And we also have to be interested in what they are doing online, because we can't just leave them to be online on their phones or on their laptop without knowing exactly what is happening. We have to find out what is it, what size are they, who are they talking to? And then by that, we can, because if they decide or they try to be secretive, then that's where you then should think or realize that, what is it? What is it that is making them secret? What size are they? Who are they talking to online that they don't want you to know? So these are some of the things or signs that you can tell. And then because as a parent, there is no law that stops you from taking consequences. If your son or your daughter is abusing their time online, you have every right as a parent to put consequences in by either, limiting the number of hours, minutes they can spend on there, or even take the gadget off them. It's part of your right. You are the parent. It's not the child who can control you what to do and what not to do. So you have to put your feet down and make sure that if they are not really sort of reasoning with you, then you have to apply force. And this is how you can because otherwise you don't want to regret. I will end here for my senior.
Okay, let me just what you said. With this part,
Yeah.
you know how these children also know their rights. So I don't know. Maybe you can advise me personally on that. So when you try to take these things, do this, do that, they will tell you that I know my what because of what they are taught at school. Sometimes they will tell you that even you are trying to discipline them, I'll call the police on you and all those things. So in this case, in as much as we want to discipline them, take phones and all those things, and they also know their rights, what should we do? Maybe
there are ways. Yes, there are ways that you try to discipline your child that it will go against the law. There are ways that you know that it comes under the law. They will say you have gone too far or you have gone against the law. Taking or limiting your young person, your child, from staying online for a long time, there is no law against that. And no police officer or no legal rep will tell you as a parent, you have broken the law by taking your son or your daughter's laptop or taking his or her phone from them for abusing it. There is no law. What is it? If your child is then rebelling, that is a different issue. If they are rebelling for you, putting in consequences, that is a different issue, because sometimes they can rebel and they can push you to then do other things that will then come under as you going against the law. But in actual fact, you see, what we try not to do is to use force. You can reason with them. You can reason with them and give them that leeway to be able to comply. But if they are becoming stubborn and if they are trying to prove that, look, I disrespect, this is where it comes under disrespect and being rude and trying to rebel, then that's where you then show them, I'm the parent, you are not. But there are ways you can start with the, negotiating and reasoning aspect. Because as you are saying, in this country, yes, children know they are right, and I believe in our other parts of Africa as well, they know they are right, but the right doesn't take the responsibility of the parent from them. Yes, I'll leave it
Thank
here.
you very much.
So,
Thank you very much, Elder John. Reverend Collins, please.
Yes. So you realize that from what Elder John said, it still comes back to the parents
Correct.
getting involved in the child's life and supervising whatever they do. Now, you can't blame parents so much for buying smartphones for their children. Sometimes it becomes necessary.
Necessary,
But
yeah.
you see, yes, sometimes when a child is given such a gadget, she wants to explore. She hears friends talk about Facebook. I have friends, this and that. And so
Oh,
they too sometimes
oh,
become
that.
excited when they begin to receive messages asking to befriend them.
Mm,
And so, unbeknown to them of the identity of whoever the persons may be and their intentions, they also accept and
mm,
conversations begin. And so, we would need to teach them before we give such gadgets to our children. Let's teach them, educate them about its usage, educate them about these social media so that they will know how vulnerable they are and be able to reduce their vulnerability. If we do not do that, then the floodgates are open. And so by the time they realize, they have been caught in the web. So parents have a lot to do to prevent some of these things from happening. Educate them, teach them. If parents we do not know these risks on social media, then we wouldn't be in the position to help our children.
mm,
In that case, we need to get other people to come in to help them. When the child has some kind of briefing, then he or she is prepared to go on social media. In fact, my daughter told me that she has deleted WhatsApp from her phone. I'm here to ask why she did that, but I know she's preparing for her exam.
Mm,
So that might be one of the reasons.
mm,
mm,
If you don't have some of these social media, then you become quite free from the online one. But that doesn't rule out the
mm.
physical grooming as well. So again, I come to parents. Parents have a crucial role to play when it comes to checking this.
huh,
All right, thank you very much. Before Pastor Roger comes in, please let me acknowledge few people and read few comments. So, Pastor Helena, thank you for joining. God bless you. Mariam, God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Cornelius, I was okay. So, Cornelius, you are welcome. Thank you very much. Can I quickly read few things, few points here? Elder Janice wrote something. He said, parenting starts right from when the child becomes self-awareness. If I feel that sometimes parents leave the discipline too late. Divine says, very educative. Thank you. Cornelius says, excellent point, Reverend Collins. The solution is teaching the kids lack of knowledge are my people perish. We must tell them the dangers before giving them the gadgets. Okay. So parent from Cornelius again, parents have a crucial role. All right. Reverend Cynthia says parents need to be present on social media so we can monitor our children online. Yes, that's very, very true. Very, very true. Personally, I know when it comes to my daughter, she's young, but I gave her a phone and it's connected. Everything is connected to my husband's. Just because sometimes when I'm out and I'm trying to call my husband, I couldn't get. I just call that phone and then for her to give, and nobody even knows her number. So that's what we have to do. We just have to connect. It's very, very important as well. Very, very important. Thank you very much, Reverend Collins. Pastor Roger, please,
um,
if you want.
Elder Collins, Elder John spoke about parenting, and Pastor Collins spoke about parenting. I'll talk about parenting and add the church to it. Bible
Okay.
says that if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Listen,
And the righteous.
we have to understand as human beings, we cannot know better than God.
Mm.
Look, we cannot be wiser than God. He's still the same yesterday, today, and forever. And he has set the
Yeah.
principles in place. So if we miss that foundation, we have missed it. A lot of us parents, we are not parents, we are just incubators who brought out these children,
Mm.
and that is it. And so,
Mm.
because we have failed, the system is prescribing something for us to do. And that is what you have in the Western world. Where
Mm.
what rights are you talking about? First and foremost,
Mm.
I think that
So
if
true.
you are a child of God, let's go back to the basis.
Mm.
Link up to
Yeah.
your father, have a relationship with your father, have that authority as the physical authority in the home, and have the spiritual authority. And you need wisdom to work within this environment. First and foremost, your physical authority when the children are young is very strong and influential. But when they get to teenage and they start getting to that level, you need a spiritual authority to operate. That is when the issue of will, because you see, immediately your children become matured and they think that they can have their way, they don't have to handle things, then they don't need you.
Mm.
But if you have that spiritual authority, they'll still honor and respect you and respect your voice. And the other thing parents should accept is that look, this is the first time we are becoming parents. So when we fall, we should admit it and let our children know this
Mm.
is my first experience. Please don't close up. Man, let's cry. When things are tough and you cannot control it, let the tears flow and let the children experience your humanness. Then they can
Mm.
relate to you as a father. But when we are so strong and strong will, then we cannot have access to them. My children
Mm.
before 10 years were my children, and I make sure, trust me, Nancy, you know what I'm talking about. I brought
Mm.
discipline
Yeah.
in the home. I was
Yeah.
not just dishing out cash, but I was
Mm.
present. I wanted to monitor. The other thing I have to add before I even go on, please, it's good to have wealth, but
Yeah.
it's good to have make wealth. But please, the children are our responsibility. Don't leave
Mm.
them in the hands of only teachers and maid servants. We need to take care of, we need to make time as parents for our children. And what if we make time, quality time that involves that we have the presence of God, quality time that we can really share issues together before the
Mm.
gadgets come in, then our children will still stay close to us. I can't believe that I need to knock on my child's door before I enter his room. I can't accept that. I can't accept that. I can't accept that. To knock on my child's door before I enter the room. I need permission from my dad, and you tell me, please, my child, please don't come in. Please,
Pastor
this
Oja.
is, I don't know
Pastor
what
Oja
system you have
surprised
there.
you too.
No, no, no. I mean, these are the things. Whilst they are babies, we made them to have that lonely life. So now that they
Mm.
are matured, you want to come in, it will not work. Nancy, when
Yeah.
your parents had you, you are right between the beds with them. You are not in your
Yeah.
separate bedroom. No, these
Mm.
are the bonds. You see, because of my experience with my children, I have realized that men have men are disappointed and struggling in life in their old age because when there are issues with the children, we hand them over to their mothers. The child is crying. Mommy, can you come and take care
Mother.
of your child? I'm busy. Mommy, can you come in?
Oh
I
God.
never, it was not because I knew I had to do it. I had that principle, I had to do it, not because I was better, but I took charge. If my daughter is crying, in fact, from 6 months, I was taking care of her. I never allowed anybody. When she's crying, I take her on a stroll. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, how busy I
Mm.
am. And that refreshes, that energizes me. And because of that, there's a bond between us. You see,
Mm.
so fathers, if you are yet to be a father, please, it will be a big mistake if the woman takes over the managing and handling of your children. and you think that is a wonderful job, you have failed. I'm being honest about it. You have failed. God trusted man and woman the responsibility of taking care of our children. And then Nancy, let me just leave it there. The other issue has to do with the church. Look, the church has perfected the environment of raising funds, but we have failed in making family have time for each other. Look, we have programs on Mondays, Friday, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, Friday all night, whatever, women ministry, singing group. What time do you want the family to make time for each other? What time? And what do we preach? We should go back to basics. Let's if we don't rise up and connect to our spiritual link, the one who gave us life and purpose, and find out where we have failed, no amount of strategies and manipulation will resolve this matter. The foundation is destroyed. We need to go and pick the basis, connect to our Father, let Him direct us, let Him teach us how to bring up these children. Let Him open the eyes of understanding. We need the spiritual giftings in the home, where you can sense your child walk in front of you and your spirit can tell you something is going on. Let me just meet this child and talk about it. But our eyes, look, we are so focused and perfect in looking for wealth. But as to what our children are going through, we have failed this. And this is what we need. The church should bring back the issue of the family. Yes, about 2-3 times time in the church environment. That is wonderful. The remaining 3-4 times, let the family raise and make time for their families. If we can do this, Nancy, by the grace of God, we'll go a long way to bring out this
money. All right, thank you very much, Pastor Roger. Pastor Roger, I agree with the fact that you don't know, but sometimes also I think, because when you come to UK, I know that, but I'm sure Elder Janice is on, Pastor Elder Abankwa is on. They will correct me if I'm wrong. Like when you come to UK, I know that at the age of 10 by law, even especially girls, even they are not supposed to sleep together, even if you have 2 girls. Also, I read it online. I don't know how true it is, but you can correct me, both Mr. and Mrs. Abankwa. Yeah. So at the age of 10, you have a girl. At the age of 10, she needs to have a place, her own room. And as a dad, if you are going, you have to knock. Because there are so many things.
Pastor Nancy, I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying that because we have failed as parents, that is why the authorities have taken over. That is the point I'm trying to make. Look, because we have failed. Listen, which government give me a scripture and give me a word in the scripture where it tells me that the responsibility of taking or bringing up a child is within the hands of the system. It's because we have failed. And trust me, Auntie Nancy, go through the process where you have affluent family, well-to-do families, and they are well established. These laws don't work. They discipline their children.
Yeah.
Go back, find out. It is those of, from the poor and for those who are trying to make ends meet, trying to make time for more funds and so on. They are struggling with the law. They are struggling with the law. If you put the right system in place, God will protect you as you discipline your child. And I'm not talking, look, Antonas, let's trust me. When my children were young, if you mess up, I make sure I dish out the cane to you. And trust me, a day or 2 after I have dished out the cane, if I'm sleeping and I don't wake up for morning devotion, they can come and pour water on me. Get up, Pastor, let's get up and pray. So it was not like this was an authority trying to do, and you cannot talk back to your dad. No, when I say something, I do something and it's wrong, they can call me back and tell me, Daddy, you were wrong. You didn't do this right. But I could also, you must do it in love and understanding. Let's go back to God to show us how to raise the gift, blessed, wonderful, treasured gifts that He has blessed us with. And don't leave it to the system. No authority, no government knows better than the God that I serve. No one knows better. They have put, social welfare, are they doing a better job? No. We are talking about what are they doing? You bring children are together, they love each other, they understand each other, then you scatter them into homes because the parents had failed, and you think that is a better system.
No.
Our grandmothers were even doing better jobs than this. And most of this abuse is coming from homes like this. Nancy, the point is that
Very true. Yeah, vulnerable children. Yeah.
parents have failed because we don't know the God we are serving. We are not looking for the manual that will bring us up in the fear and in honoring God. We have allowed the system to bring something in. Trust me, most of the leaders who instituted these rules and regulations are failures from their homes. Let me leave it there. Don't let me be passionate about this. But that is the truth.
All right. Thank you very much. That's true. There's no one who is better than God. That's very true. Let me read few comments from Cornelius says Proverbs 22:15 says, foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of correction will drive it far from him. And Kelvin Asante says, you don't need to knock at your child's door before entering his room. Janice Abankwa says, Pastor, as for this one, please, so you have to knock. You have to knock you before you before you enter into a female's room. All right. So
I bathed them when they were young. Nancy, I bathed my children when they were young. Up to the age of 7, 8, I was taking care of them. What are you talking about?
I think it's all about the bond, isn't it? Because I think it's all about how you bond. Yeah, the relationship.
That is the thing. What about my daughter? Would I deserve for? They are wonderful and pretty. But what about at this age? I mean, please. When a parent has a psychological challenge with looking at the nakedness of the daughter, then I can appreciate why you need to knock.
Yeah. Giving says the quest for money has made most parents absent in the lives of their children. Most children are now their own caretakers. It's heartbreaking. Yes, it is. Kelvin Asante says, if your child is an adolescent female, I think it is prudent to knock. Danny says, hello to you. To Crescel says, great job done. Sure, we must rebuild the foundation. Where is it? We must rebuild the foundation. Thank you very much from Giving says, thank you very much, Pastor Roger, but please knock. So please knock. All right. Yes, sir. All right. From Daniel says, our problem is we have more baby makers than parents. Lena, you are welcome. Thank you very much. So please, let's try and knock. Elder, do you want to add something before we move on?
Yes, I
can tell you want to add something. Yeah.
I was just going to add to what Pastor Roger was saying, and I think I do get the point where Pastor Roger is coming from, but then we also have to, because you see, we live in different worlds whereby there is the law of the land, and what pertains in our country back in Africa might be different from what pertains in the UK or US or other countries, because you see the government has put some of these safeguarding issues in place because of what has gone on in the past.
Yes, in the past.
So you see, the fact is, as a family, we are responsible for our families and our raising our children, but it hasn't always been the case. So now the state is interested in the welfare of our children, in as much as we, the parent, are or sometimes not. So that is why the state has that responsibility to ensure that parents are doing the right things, taking care, obviously here in the UK, of course, and I believe some other countries, not so much in others, but they are making sure that parents are doing what they are supposed to do. And if for any reason they are struggling, there are systems in place to support them. And if for any reason they are going overboard, there are systems to check them. So there are all checks and balances within the system because of what has gone on. Abuse has occurred from within their own families, by the parents themselves, by family members themselves. So the government is not allowing the fact. Yes, I get your point. Why would you knock on your daughter's door when you want to go into their bedroom? But the situation is, as Pastor Nancy said, when they become aware, it's a matter of respect. You are not taking, you are not dominating. It's a respect issue. It's their room. It's the fact that they are becoming aware of themselves. They are growing. Things are shooting up. So it's knocking. It's a way of respecting them. You are not. They are not taking over your house. It's a matter of respecting them in that sense. And they will also accord the same thing. If they are demanding that you knock, then of course that's where you kind of try and, because they know that it's something, because they teach them at school. Your father cannot, at the age of 8, cannot bath you because you can't. You haven't done anything wrong, but if they were to go to school and for any conversation this comes up, why is your father bathing you at the age of 8 years?
When the child is not well. I'm just trying to bring some. No. I appreciate. Look, I appreciate what you're saying. Of course, if I'm in the UK, I'll be careful how to do it. But this can never happen in my home. That is a truth. I appreciate where you're coming from. That I need it's respect. But I just lifted that issue in trying to give the independence of the child and so on. So I mean, if the child is not well, what do you do? If my child screams at midnight and she's calling for help because of the law.
No, you go in and help. Yes.
And so I guess I'm just bringing some of these issues for us and bringing the discussion of let's lift the standard of parenting so that the government can put its hands off.
Yes. Thank you.
I appreciate Elder Collins. I was just trying to bring some of these points out. I get a bit passionate about these issues because we have failed as parents.
Okay.
So
Elder Johnny says, get the mother to bath her.
Pastor, you see how people were getting on your neck because you realize you are going a bit to an uncomfortable zone. Because of self-awareness, a child gets to the adolescent stage and begins to feel shy, some uncomfortable when the parent is around, begins to cover themselves. And so once those things begin to happen, we need to give them some space so that at least for their privacy.
I understand. Pastor Collins, I appreciate all that. I mean, I understand. But I have an experience and I respect my children. I appreciate their privacy. But we are an open house because they believe and know who I am and what I stand for. And they trust me with what we are going. It's a relationship. I mean, if you don't relate well, you can't just go in and surprise your child. No, you can't do that. But it's how you relate with your family that brings some of these things out. All I was trying to bring across is that, please, let's go back to God. Let Him give us a foundation He gave to us. If we fix ourselves, like we are saying, fix the country, then we can bring the change that the government is trying to. I'm sure the government wants to put things right because in the past, like Elder Collins said, Elder John said, we have abused our children, we have destroyed the system. So the government will have to come in and fix us. I don't want any government to fix me.
The government should come in and fix us.
I don't want any government to fix me.
Let me quickly read what let me read what Rev said here. Reverend Cedia says it's important to respect the law of the land, and also others have abused their own kids, and so these safeguardings is to protect the children, which you have said, yes. And then Reverend Elder Johnny says the law is the law. You cannot bath your female child at that age. Ignorance is at ignorance, as it may be, that could end a parent in a safeguarding issues, which is very true. But I know that from what Elder Janice said, I know that when these kids they go to school, is it those assistants, the teaching assistants, you see how the conversation they have with them, they try to get words out of their mouth all the time. So, how was the weekend? How is mommy this? You see, they bring out a lot of Me, sometimes my daughter will go, they would say something, and the moment she come home, she'll come and tell mommy, you know, the teacher asked me this, and I said this, and I'm like, you go and put me in trouble. So you understand all it's sometimes it's also I think it's all about the relationship. Seriously, the relationship we build with them. So when these things go on, and even if you have to bath I know that a mother should come in and bath. If let's say mom is not there at that particular time, or mom too is not, then daddy should take over and do it. But it's
But
how you bring them up.
Pastor Nancy, I think that the issue of even at the age of 8 or 10 or 20 years, it has to do when the child is not well. If a child is
Yeah,
about 6 and is well brought up,
yeah,
the child should be able to take care of himself or
mm,
herself. I mean, that honest. But
yeah,
I'm just bringing these issues out, that this issue of privacy, we have
mm.
over. I mean, it's
Over
gone
privacy
out.
it.
Yes, it's too much.
Yeah.
And these are the things that happens in a secret, so we don't get to know. I mean, by
Mm,
the age of 3, Nancy, by the age of 3, 5, my children were even fasting up to 6.
mm,
Over there, you
mm.
say it's child abuse, and no wonder they are better Christians than I am. I mean, that is the point. My children are better Christians than I am. They understand
Yeah.
the principles of God than I do,
Mm,
because the foundation I'm coming from is a very strong one. But they
yeah.
had an influence of a father who was ready to defend the truth, even if I was wrong, just to help
Mm,
out. So, of course, above certain age, I will not go there to. They are matured enough to handle it. But when they are handicapped, they can't take care of themselves, and the mom is not there. Please don't tell me a government says I should bring an outsider to come and take care of my daughter, so that what? I mean, this is what I'm saying. But of course, that is your law over there. I'm glad I'm in Ghana.
In Ghana.
oh, I think there is a law in
That
Ghana
that
too.
is
I
the
know that there are so many laws I've read about in Ghana, but because they don't put it in place, that's why we think we don't have. But we have such laws as
because
well.
because,
We have
but
it in
because it
Ghana.
cannot happen. It cannot happen.
But
Antinasi, it cannot happen.
but
I'm being honest with you.
if I should
Our,
just quickly
yes.
add this to Pastor Roger, if I should quickly, you see, what you are saying is right. There is
Mm,
nothing in the law that says if your child is not well, you as the
mm,
father, you are not supposed to support.
mm.
Mm,
Is
Yeah.
what kind of care are you? Is there are intimate care and there is
Mm,
general care. So what kind
mm,
of care are
mm,
you offering? Are you offering intimate care? Because we know that there for girls when they are washing down, bathing, they have to wash
mm.
certain places. How is that done? Is the
That
you
is
as
true.
the father doing it, or you are supervising the daughter doing it? You see, there are difference. There are ways. The Lord doesn't say you can't take care of your ill daughter, but how far do you go? What is the intimate care you are giving? Those are the areas that it covers.
mm,
Nothing stops anybody, no man, no father, from taking care of their own daughter if they are not well or they are not capable of doing certain things. But you can show because you supervise. Okay, you know what? This is how, and I believe at that point the mother would have shown them. So I'm just supervising you doing it. I am not doing it for you. That is the difference. So that you won't be. That's right.
I'm glad you brought up this point. I wish that we would let parents understand this, so that we don't become so scared of the system that
Mm,
we don't do anything about these issues. And that is
mm,
where we are falling short. We are so scared of the system that we don't even understand the rule. You see, we don't understand it. So all these things are hidden, and then a lot of unnecessary liberties are given, and others are abusing our children. Others
mm,
are doing it. It's
mm,
like Nancy spoke about your I mean, you go through something with your child. He goes to school,
yeah.
and then this so-called two known teachers who are not, they don't have good intentions, try to
Mm,
pry what is going on, and they come and separate and destroy their family. And
mm,
out of our ignorance, we allow some of these things to go on, and families are broken up. The church
mm.
and the parents, we need to stand up and
We
get
need to
ourselves
stand up,
informed,
church parents.
understand and know our limits, and know how to treat our children. I mean, even when a child falls, sometimes the child would not want you to pick him or her up as young as maybe below 5 years. Sometimes they want to take time to get out themselves because they are shy. I appreciate that understanding. So I'm not talking in general. Oh, I take my child and I'm what? No, no, no. Those ones are too extreme. But you make sure, like Edda Collins brought these things, Isha, we should understand and help our children so that we'll be there with them when they are going through the challenges, and they will reveal issues to us. They will not give the enemy the door to enter and then destroy the home that God has entrusted us with.
We shouldn't allow them to come in to destroy the beautiful family God has entrusted us with. That's very true. Let me quickly read a few things, and then I think our time is even almost up again. So the law from Elder Genesis, the law is okay. We have read that. Okay, so it's not just the past; it is still happening. Children are still being abused, which is true.
That is true.
School is where the whole issue starts. Yes, from
Mm.
Elder Janice. And Daniel says, God was visiting Adam in the garden without knocking, but Jesus said, I stand at the door.
God bless. God bless you. God bless you.
But you know, there is no way God will abuse. There was no way God would have abused them. But here we have had cases where parents have abused their own
Yes, yes,
children. And so,
yes.
like
Yeah.
Pastor Rogers, yes, when such abuses have happened, then it gives cause for government
Yeah,
to come in with
definitely.
some measures to protect the children.
Mm. Elder Janice says the foundation is the key.
Mm.
And please don't forget women and mothers also abuse. Yes, that's true.
That is true.
Okay, welcome, Jerry Ekins. Thank you for joining us. I don't even know that due to that. I don't know whether I should add the next question. You know, when we build the relationship with them, when there are so many changes in them, we will see. So I was just going to ask about the signs. What will we see in our children when we think that they are being groomed?
Mm.
And I don't know. I
I
think
think that it varies. First and foremost, I think that if you have a good rapport with your children, they should be able to share certain thoughts or feelings that they have. My children below the age of if I'm not lying, below the age of 13, we had discussions about when they see boys how they feel,
secret.
yeah, how they feel, and so we had those discussions. They knew that it was wrong to do that, but they could come to me. I went to school today. I want to be careful not to bring all the story out, or else I'll
Yeah.
betray the privacy of my child. So I want to be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah.
Comes to me and tells me, Daddy, I went to school today and I saw this guy and my heart started beating. What is the meaning? She knows exactly what she's saying, but how she immediately I got the message. So then I sit down with you, we go through the process and make you understand these things. These things make your children trust you with issues. So when there's a change, is if you have a rapport with your child, when a child is a virgin, the innocence in displaying the way they dress, the way they carry themselves is different. But immediately they get involved, you can tell the difference if you have that rapport. Virgin, not only in terms of the sexual virginity, but virgin as in when another information that is not good for them is coming to them. Good. So if you have that rapport with your child, it will be easy to relate and know that no, today this girl could come to me and talk about this, but now I've seen that no, it's no more going on. This sort of laughter, this sort of openness is no more with me, but it's with somebody else. Then you need to begin to watch out and tread. That is when you have a good relationship. But if you don't have the good relationship, we must also be very careful not to be always suspicious about the moves of our children. That is why the spiritual instincts comes in. Because if you try to pry too much into their privacy, especially if you have not built that relationship with them, you rather push them away. It's good to take your time to build it so that they'll come to you themselves. They'll open up and come to you. I would not always force it. Go with time, you come to me. Because of one or two, you don't come. But I give myself enough reasonable time to wait for you to come. If you don't come, I'll bring it on the pulpit in
I'll
the
calm
home.
myself.
No, I'll bring it in the pulpit in the home in a sense that we want to discuss a scripture on those issues, not to manipulate, but to have an open discussion. And then I'll make certain personal confessions as a child, what I also went through. That gives you the key to tell me that, hey, whether it's by word of wisdom or knowledge, daddy is suspecting something. Let me go to daddy. Let me go to mommy and share. We must open up, have an open house, let our children have access to us, and we should also have access to them in communication, in relating. If we can build this, when there's a breach somewhere, you'll be able to sense this and then look for help. Sometimes you are not qualified to do it because you are the cause. You have destroyed the breach. So when you know that it is you, and building that bridge will take time, look for outside help, a matured help, a counselor, a pastor who can appreciate and come in to help you. If we can do this, then we can go places. The mistakes comes when we are the cause and we want to bring the solution. Then they build bridges and there's no way you can come in again. Let me leave it for.
Okay. So Elder Janice says, our parents prepared already to shift their mindset. And then he's saying that, okay, so I asked the question and she said change of behavior and secretive. And Reverend C said secretive and they become withdrawn. Okay, thank you very much for your contributions. Reverend Collins, please.
Sometimes an easygoing child will now become so moody, excessively sad and worrisome. When you begin to see such signs, it may be indicative of something going amiss, which would mean that the parents would need to draw closer to find out exactly what is happening, because it is one of the signs. When the child gets to the stage of knowing that he or she has been abused after going through grooming, a person she or he so much trusted and now didn't know that it was grooming aiming at some kind of abuse. So the moment the abuse comes, the person becomes disappointed, and somebody who is so hearty, so happy now becomes reserved. And another sign is, if previously a child feeling so comfortable in the company of an older person now becomes so resistant, doesn't want to be in the presence of the person, doesn't want to be in the company of this person. Mommy, don't leave me alone with so and so. Mommy, don't leave me alone here. I don't want to go with him. I don't want to go to his house. It's an indication that something might have happened. Yes. So once they begin to express some of these things, then it's a message to us that something may be happening. And sometimes the child may become so hostile. Previously, that wasn't his or her character, her nature. But suddenly, the person becomes so hostile. It's because something has happened and emotionally becomes so distraught, and the hostility becomes a way of venting her disappointment, his anger about the whole thing. So these are some of the indications that we can use to tell that probably grooming has happened and has led to some kind of child abuse.
Okay. Thank you very much, Reverend Collins. Elder John, please.
Thank you, Pastor Nancy. I think from what Pastor Roger and Pastor Collins have said, I'll just add a bit very quickly, because I mean they have all mentioned other signs. But you see, children, young people, they are attracted to gift, to things, So sometimes you haven't bought them anything, but they have this item. How did they get it? Who gave it to them? So if they cannot, even if they are able to explain to you where they got that from, they may always not tell you the truth. They will fabricate stories. Oh, this friend, this friend gave it to me, or this is for this friend, is not for me. They'll give you stuff. But then you have to observe and see how long are they. If it's not for you, I don't expect you to keep it for that long. So you have to observe and see how long they are keeping this item, and then you have to go back and verify where they got that item from. It can be gift items, it can be money, so those are some of the things, because groomers they want to capture the hearts of their victims. So whatever they will do to capture their hearts, they will do. So gifts are some of the ways they do that. And sometimes the signs that you see, when the grooming is happening and the abuse hasn't happened, the victims are not aware most of the time that this is the end goal of the groomers. But when the abuse happened, like Pastor Reverend Collins was saying, then reality sets in. Oh, so now my trust has been betrayed here. So therefore now they don't want to now spend, unlike before, you can't even get them off their online internet, social media. Now the abuse has happened. They don't even want to go there because of the guilt. So they don't want to go online again. They don't want to spend time on online on their devices. The person they used to communicate with, they don't want anything to do with them anymore. They are signs. What has happened? What has happened between you and your friend? Anymore, nothing going on. So those are signs. And also, when the guilt has elapsed, because whatever it is, when it happens and the guilt is fresh and these signs are all showing, now it gets to a point they come to terms with the guilt. And if it happens for the second time, then it means they are now becoming okay with the abuse, going along with it. This is where then it becomes a problem. So now you start seeing some kind of sexualized behaviors in them, because now they have gone past the abuse state, they have gone past the guilt state, and now they are no longer, initially they were victims, but now they have become, part of it. So now things that used to disgust them, things that used to make them feel guilty, they were withdrawn, they were isolated. All that ceases now. They are now into it. Then there you start seeing some kind of sexual behaviors display that wasn't part of them before. So why now? What is going on? You see, so, and then even sometimes their language, because they have now become aware of certain ways, adult ways. So that is the extreme end after the abuse has happened and they have now become comfortable and now engaging in it. So these are some of the signs as well.
Oh. We are just getting into it and our time is up, but all right, so all of you, thank you once again. Nanaraba, thank you for joining. Kukua, you are welcome. You are late. Emmanuel, you are also late. Yes. No, you are not late. Thank you. It's Nanaraba that is late. So you take time and go through again. Welcome, Jenny Abua. Gifty, you are welcome. Thank you all. I know our time is up, but I just quickly want us to say something little on how. I know some of us, maybe most of the people, made a mistake by getting themselves in all these things. So finally, we couldn't really go into our questions. So I will give all these great men rest and I will go back to them again and ask them again and plead to come on, maybe next month or the following. We'll see how it goes. But I just want you to say your final word on how will we be able, even if we've made a mistake or we found ourselves in this grooming thing, how are we able to come out? Some of us went through, and by God's grace, we have come out. So what do we want to say to our viewers that are going through such thing? Whatever it is, whatever mistake, whatever has happened, they too can be overcomers. If you want to say something to them, and we can call it an evening. Reverend Pastor Roger, please.
Auntie Nancy, I think that a lot of the things that we have shared, Uncle John, Pastor Collins, we have touched on a few issues that could help anybody that could come in. Of course, situations it varies from every person, whatever we have gone through. We can trust one thing. If you know that you are in a situation you are not content with, call, ask for help. If you are in any situation that you are not comfortable with, because God created you to have a fulfilled life, So if you are in any situation, any environment that we have not mentioned, we have not spoken about, and you can't define, but you're not happy with, ask for help. If the immediate family that you're supposed to call for help are not ready to help you, reach out. You see, God doesn't take away our instincts. He doesn't take away our sense of judgment in looking at issues. Even sometimes, excuse me to use this example, when somebody is drunk, that appreciation of being careful, it's there. I mean, if dogs can cross streets with care, I don't know why a human being created in the image of God cannot look up. So wherever you find yourself, it's not too late. There's a way out of the situation. Call for help. Your parents, if you have pastors, if you have an elder, you have a social worker, be careful and open up. Assess the people as you are going to help. You are seeking for help. You need to assess whether these people will be the right people to help you. When you make mistakes, don't condemn yourself. If you tried and you made mistakes and you abused them more, don't give up. The fact that you know that there's something that you need to do about this tells me that there's hope for you. Finally, God is ever ready to reach out to you. Please don't accept this message. If God loves me, why would He allow me to go through this? That is the lie of the enemy. You cannot understand God. You cannot appreciate the ways of God. You cannot use your experience to judge who God is. He's loving, caring, ever ready. He brought you here and He wants you to succeed. He doesn't want you to be a failure. Trust Him and He'll take you through.
Trust Him and He will take you through. He doesn't want you to be a failure. Thank you, Pastor Roger. Reverend Collins, please.
Thank you, Pastor Nancy. I think from the outset, we spoke at length about how somebody in a situation of the sort can come out. And Pastor Roger has just sealed it. And so I wouldn't want to belabor that point. But one thing I would also want to say is we need to know, we need to let our children know that grooming doesn't just happen. It doesn't happen in a day. From the definition of grooming, I call something the 6 P's, where the predator has a purpose, then he has a prey. Again, he has a plan to achieve that purpose. And that plan also goes through a process. The process will take some period. And again, it has a particular place where it will happen. A reading on the subject also reveals, when it talks about the process, it reveals 6 stages that one may go through in order to eventually abuse the child. Where he will target his victim, he will establish friendship with him or her, and even the significant others around him. Then he would also fill in some need, physical need, emotional need, material need, financial need. Knowing how vulnerable the person may be, then he will begin to fill in those needs. And that augments the bond that has already taken place. Then, having made friends with parents and other significant others, it gets to a stage that he will now want to have access to the child and then some kind of separation. So if he's going away with the child, parent doesn't bother. They have come to trust him or her so much. So there is that separation bit. And once the person is able to separate the child from the parents or significant others, then he is now able to abuse. And when abuse happens, he now wants to find ways and means to control that child. And so if we are able to teach our children that grooming goes through several stages, and we are able to let them know, at least when the person begins, you become suspicious that
Yeah.
this will lead to that. When the first thing happens, second happens, then you know that probably it is leading there. And so these are ways we can guard ourselves and our children against predators when it comes to child grooming. Thank you.
God
Amen.
bless you, Reverend Collis. Elder John, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Nancy. Thank you, Pastor Roger and Reverend Collins. I mean, the little I can add to what has already been said is anyone can be a groomer. Anyone. It can be a man, it can be a woman, a friend, a stranger, or somebody you even trust, a professional. But what we have to realize is it is important for children and young people to know that there are trusted adults, there are trusted people around. So the fact that one person has done this doesn't mean every other person or adult or significant other is also a bad person. What we need to realize is teaching children and young people about healthy relationship and how to stay safe, whether it's online, whether it's face to face, whatever it is, it's the key. We have to let them know. But then it comes down to us as parents, as adults in the lives of, it's not just parents, because we know that parents don't only raise their children. There are all over we are raising our children with the system, with social media, with other it's a very complicated situation here. I know we have talked about parents, but I want to also make the point that parents are not the only people raising their children, because a
Yeah.
parent will impact knowledge, impart values, but when they go out there, there are also de facto parents that are pouring into the lives of our children. So that is one point. But at the end of the day, they still come back home, which is their home. So we have to at least make them comfortable to be able to communicate, allow the gate of communication to flow. By so doing, they'll be able to open up. We as parents should create the environment for our children and young people to be able to come to us and speak with us if there are anything happening in their lives that they want to share. Otherwise, we don't do that. We put them off, we drive them away. They will rather go tell someone else than tell you, the parent, which is not the right way. And when they talk to us, we have to listen to what they are saying and reassure them, not just listening, not just blaming them, reassure them and do something about it. You see, in this part of the world, yes, there are systems, there are organizations. I mean, there is the police that, you can ask the parent, lead your child to report these, because you see, the issue is not just about your son or your daughter. If you don't act, this groomer, if he doesn't get yours, they will go elsewhere and go and get someone else's. So it's about trying to bring these unscrupulous people into justice. So you help them to report such, and the police have ways that they can track these groomers, use their online portfolio, and they'll be able to track and eventually apprehend them. So there are ways that we can go about to stop some of this from the home as well as from the government, from the community. In the same way, I believe that there are systems in Africa, in Ghana, wherever that because I don't think any government would like to condone such activities. They'll bring them to book. So I think we will start from the home and then also involve authorities if they don't succeed with our children, so that they will not go ahead and do it to other children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elder John. Okay, so let me just say this few and then we'll just call it an evening. So, Pastor Bright Gold, thank you for joining. God bless you. Reverend Cynthia says we must watch out for the welfare and well-being of our children. Yes, very important. And then Reverend Collins, you talked about the 6 P's, which is making it's I think it's touching people here. So yes, we just want to say thank you, everyone. I can the comments are too much, but our time is fast spent, so I can't read all. But I really appreciate all of you who took time to come on. The comments who took time to come on and watch us or learn something. I believe we've all learned something. You can still watch it, you can still send it to people for them to also learn something that you have learned that maybe they are lacking. In a nutshell, what I want to say is that everything that these great men of God has said, one thing is that foundation is important. The Bible says if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? If you have already made a mistake, like I said, if you have already made a mistake, that doesn't mean that there is no hope. There is still hope. If you are a parent and you've made a mistake by leaving your children like that, please, there is still time to reconnect them back. And if you are a young adult that maybe you've been through this grooming and it has landed you into a situation that you didn't like, there is still time to make the right decision. And God is the only porter. So you cannot do anything without God. And so I will recommend that you connect to God. God is our source of strength. God is our hope. God is everything that we aim for and we yearn for. And so let's connect to God, and God will be able to rebuild you, remold you, and use you for his glory. God bless you. Thank you so much. I would like Pastor Roger to pray for us. Many are, if I should say, many are sick, many are going through these, and it's brought them to a place of um I don't know, a place of illness, if I should say, a place that they don't want to reconnect to anybody, a place that they are so lonely. Like I was discussing, they are so lonely, they don't know what to do. And I want you to pray for those hearts that God should touch them, God should remold them again, God should reconnect them back to him. So, Pastor Roger, please, I will hand over to you.
Thank you, Auntie Nancy. I pray that Pastor Collins' piece would be put across so that
Mm,
we can
yeah, I will. I would.
they are detailed, and if
Mm,
they are expressed well, it can give a lot of strong direction.
yeah. Mm,
I pray that the Lord, by His Spirit, would influence each and everyone that has listened to us today.
amen.
Anyone that has gotten an understanding, a desire to be free, I pray the Spirit of God, the power of His presence, the honor of His presence would influence your life
Mm,
to get out. My prayer is that the Spirit of God would connect you to a source of help,
mm,
an avenue of hope where you get out of this
amen.
situation. My prayer is that
Yes,
the
Lord.
Spirit of God will lift you up and bring you to that place. My prayer is that
Mm,
homes that have been destroyed because of this, His presence would
mm,
influence and grant direction, that there'll be healing for His perfect will to speak. My prayer is that the Lord that created us in His own image, after His likeness, will bring all of us who have heard and received this truth to bring our life to a place where it will bring praise unto His name. I pray this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Let His name be exalted above every other name. Amen.
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 God bless you, and thank you, everyone. Have a
Bless
great, great evening and a good night to everyone. So we call it an evening. Next week, we are talking about rejection. And so please let's invite friends and family to join us. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, please subscribe. If you haven't liked my page, like my page. Tell a friend to tell a friend to like my page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. And thank you, great men of God. God richly bless you. Have a
God
good evening, everyone.
Amen.
bless
Have
you.
a
Thank
good
you.
evening
Good
to
evening.
Bless
Thank you,
everyone.
Pastor Roger. Thank you, Pastor Reverend Collins.